concussion coming off that thing standing right here.
This is certainly no profundity, but the AK-47 straight up rocks. I say this because the Galil ACE, right here, this beautiful specimen, is deep down at its core essentially just a souped up AK. Not that I'm taking anything away from it. If it is an AK, it's an AK that got put on an episode of Extreme Makeover and won. It's more than just a facelift. We're talking full-on plastic surgery. Back to its roots, the AK-47. It's a barrel-chested brute. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It carries an unparalleled track record and a perception of unrivaled reliability, all at an economically savvy price point, unless you decide to get fancy with it. Those characteristics right there are the holy trinity of SHTF rifles. Track record, reliability, and value. I'm sold. Despite its godly resume, the AK-47, at least to me, is far from perfect. It's an ergonomic disaster. Mag changes are clunky. There's no last round bolt hold open, right hand charging only. The stock's too low for a good cheek weld, especially if you have optics. Iron sights are average at best. Optics mounting is definitely a trial, and the safety can be finicky. Oh, and it's also a little heavy. Enter the Galil ACE. While certainly not a cure-all, it's patched up a few of those holes. The original Israeli Galil is a bit of a nostalgic icon for a lot of American shooters. After U.S. imports of the Galil ceased about 20 years ago, the prices went through the roof. Fast forward to 2015, and it's back with a vengeance in the form of the ACE. In short, it's a modernized version of the Galil, which has seen decades of military use. And although the ACE is new in the States, the kinks are ironed out. It's already seen quite a bit of service overseas. The modern features of the ACE turn it into a handy, smooth operator, while maintaining that rugged AK aesthetic appeal. My favorite and possibly the most obvious departure from the original Galil is the left side charging handle. Gone is that kind of clunky, upturned right side charging handle. This left side charging handle also incorporates a virtually sealed system. There's this simple spring-loaded dust cover. It's innovative and just cool without becoming overly complicated or cumbersome. Also, the lack of the right side gap that you get with the normal AK makes for little room for dirt and debris to infiltrate. And boy, is this thing smooth. I've heard several Israelis refer to it as the butter rifle, and they aren't joking. If an AK action is like driving down a gravel road with potholes, the Galil ACE feels like a slip and slide in comparison. Even a high-end AK with a polished bolt and carrier aren't at this level of greasy goodness. Vastly improved is the AK safety selector. It's much easier to activate, and the left side selector is money and makes the gun truly ambi, as the mostly traditional oversized mag release is easily activated with either hand. Left side optics mounting is history, thank goodness. In its place is a very nice full-length upper rail. It's not monolithic. The rear half of it is built into the dust cover, but it does mount very solidly with the aid of that rubber stabilizing gasket. Likewise, just as stable was the original Galil rear sight, which makes its return in great form. Fully windage adjustable with 2-dot tritium inserts for low light activity, and it's all been welded to the stamped steel dust cover. The location also makes room for optics if you're going to mount it on top of that Picatinny rail, in addition to giving you a slightly longer sight radius. The front sight is elevation adjustable and also features a tritium insert for the front post. I found it very easy to pick up these dots in low light, even without the stock for proper eye relief. 2 thumbs up on the sights. The handguard is also new, and although I feel like quad rails are slightly antiquated, this covered rail system is pretty nice. It incorporates molding for pressure switches, and there's plenty of room for mounting all sorts of accessories. They are easily removed with the press of a button and a push forward. The upper receiver is milled and very solid, but the lower it's been put on a polymer diet, shedding a good number of precious ounces, over a pound really depending on which Galil model you're comparing it to. This pistol that I have right here comes in at only 6 pounds, while the rifle version is about 8.3. That's a substantial weight savings when you consider the original Galil weighs about 9.5 pounds. The lower is built out of a single piece of impact-resistant polymer with a mag well, trigger guard, and a pistol grip which allows for storage. I really dig it. I will note the mag well is nice for mag changes, probably saving a tiny bit of time, but on the downside it doesn't allow for my US Palm magazines, and I have a decent number of those. They're just a little bit too thick. Any standard profile mag is going to work just fine though. Also, you're not going to be able to swap out that pistol grip again if you like those US Palm grips or maybe a Magpul grip. Now this time the 7.62x39 is your only caliber choice. Hopefully more options will be available in the future. Sadly, unlike the 5.56 version of the Galil, the 7.62 does not have that last round bolt hold open. It's just not compatible with traditional AK mags, unfortunately. I really would have liked to see that addressed, but it's not a deal breaker. Now the barrel, it's a solid 16 inches of cold hammer forged chrome line durability. Just what I like to see on a workhorse of a rifle. The twist rate is 1 in 9.5, right hand with 4 grooves, so it's going to work well with any of the usual 7.62 x 39 ammunition. A standard 5-port flash hider is included, and in line with the modern theme of the ACE, the thread pitch has been updated to the standard 5/8 by 24, which excites me as it allows for the use of standard 30 caliber muzzle devices. Hello suppressor. The trigger is a pleasant 4.5 to 5 pounds, and it feels pretty nice and smooth. The brake is nice. It does have a little bit of grit on the reset. If you do get the Galil ACE SAR, the rifle version, with a stock, you're going to be enjoying the right side foldable 6-position variety. It also has a convenient snap-on cheek piece if you need a razor for optics. For us pistol users, an SB15 type brace is in development, but not yet available. There's really no options for us right now. So far, I haven't really been able to test accuracy without a stock, but it's generally regarded as a step up from an AK-47. Other users have reported regular 1 MOA groups with match ammunition, and in the future I hope to put it to the test. Regardless, you can expect to see better accuracy than the average AK. You may have noticed this third pin right here, the devil pin. The pin that takes an ordinary AK and turns it into an illegal machine gun killing machine, at least according to the ATF. In reality, obviously it's going to take quite a bit of modification to make this fully automatic, but the government doesn't usually care about common sense. So all because of this itty bitty pin right here, IWI has issued a recall, and I'm about to send this back in for a refund. They did give me the option of sending me a new rifle, but that was going to take 2 or 3 months, possibly even more, and honestly, I just want my money right now. I'll buy another one when they're re-released. So let's go ahead and look under the hood. Breaks down just as you would expect. Internally, all your operational goodies are AK. I like to use a little chamber flag. Makes it easier with the Galil. Shove it down to where it sticks right there. Then dust cover will pop right off. It is kind of tight, so you got to yank on it pretty hard. From there, it's as AK as it gets. You do have a buffer, and there's the little rubber gasket that really helps to seal that thing up and make it extra solid. And I mean, that's just straight up AK. Look at that bolt. Stubby little piston, as you can see right there. Kind of cool. It's just an AK trigger, more or less. Reassembly. There's your bolt right there. Place it in as usual. Guide rod recoil spring assembly. Go ahead and pop it in and kind of stick it down below on the trunnion there. It'll make it easier to put the dust cover back on because it is so stiff. And the dust cover will pop back into place. And once it's all in and solid, go ahead and just charge it, and it'll pop right back out. So sadly, because of that recall, I haven't really been able to put it through its paces to adequately test reliability. The few hundred rounds I did run through it went off without a hitch, as expected. On the bright side, knowing that I would have to return it to IWI, I didn't even bother with removing factory grease, let alone lubing it up. I literally yanked it out of the box and started firing. Even with all that thick gunk in there, it was perfect. I would expect the reliability will continue to be right on par with an AK. I really love this gun. It is very well thought out and of top tier quality. The left side charging, polymer lower, and massively improved safety bring this thing kicking and screaming into the 21st century. The sealed system and increased accuracy are also big improvements. The tight tolerances might worry some AK users, but I think that Teflon's smooth action largely obviates the need for those loose tolerances. Again, the shortcomings include the lack of compatibility with certain magazines, as without serious modification they're rendered useless on this platform. But again, on the plus side, the magwell is handy for reloads. The lack of the last round bolt hold open in the 7.62 is what it is, and it would be nice to be able to change those pistol grips for some users. The price is on the high side. Well, certainly better than buying the original Galil. For $1,700 for this pistol right here and about $2,000 for the rifle, it's a little steep. Although it might just be worth it, if only to avoid the banality of owning another traditional AK. I have my fingers crossed that IWI gets these ATF shenanigans figured out and production increases, because the Galil ACE is one bad mother. This has been a Doomsday Brothers review of the venerable IWI Galil ACE. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.